Hey guys, and welcome to another Barricadier video. We are here on Saturn, the Chronia Relay. We are going to check out Barricadier and see what he's got for us. For the fans of Fashion Frame, there is a whole bunch of stuff for you this week. We've got the left and right Prisma Daedalus knee pads. These things look great. I've got them on a whole bunch of my frames. I love the Prisma effects they've got going on. It is something I definitely think is worth picking up if you love your fashion framing. So 65 ducats, 75,000 credits. They're not that expensive either, so I would definitely say it's worth picking those up. If you are a fan of maxing out your Sentinels, then we've also got the Prisma Jet Sentinel Wings, Prisma Koi Sentinel Tail. I have both of these on my Carrier Primer all time. I love the way they look. I think they work well on every single Sentinel, so I would say it's worth picking up if you want to go for those. Only go for them though if you really want to pimp out your Sentinel. 300 ducats, 200 ducats, 200,000 credits each. They are not cheap. So if ducats are an issue, then this is something else that you could kind of leave out. In terms of more fashion frame, we've got the Katir Sugatra. Katir Sugatra, dangly thing on the back of your weapon. I'm not a fan of Sugatras myself because I don't really use them and the preview is doing a really bad job of showing it off. However, this thing actually does look fairly decent. It's got some cloth physics sort of going on there with its dangly. It's got the Katir sort of logo that spins in the middle. It's a very good looking thing, and for 250 ducats, 250,000 credits, you're going to have to be a big fan of the dangly thing if you're going to want to pick that one up, to be honest. But honestly, it's a pretty good looking little thing. In terms of mods that you want to pick up this time around, there's a whole bunch of them, to be honest. The Slash set is back once again. I think I use all of these in sort of one form or another somewhere along the line. Especially like Sweeping Serration, I use them more with Tigresses. Buzzkill, if I'm trying to raise the percentage of slash on a melee weapon. I use them all in some form or another. You might have to pick and choose, depending on what weapon you like most, because they are fairly expensive. 375 ducats and 150,000 credits. The credits aren't too bad, but the ducats are pretty terrible, and so if you're low on ducats, you're going to have to probably only pick up a couple of these. If you can pick up all four, I would recommend it, but just go for the ones, obviously, in the weapons that you are probably going to use more often. And then we got the mod that's actually causing more of a stir than it probably should do. Now, Primed Regen. If the Sentinel is killed, it will regenerate 3 times to 100% maximum health. Normal regen is 1 time to 100% maximum health. But there was actually a change that wasn't announced in the patch notes. It probably should be there now. However, I spoke to some people and found out that for every rank of the mod, so this is a rank 10 mod, you gain 1 second extra invulnerability time between regens. So if your Sentinel killed, you get 11 seconds regen with basically 11 seconds of invulnerability with the Prime mod between it being able to be damaged again. Now this actually it solves a problem that I've had with regen for quite some time. Ignis's Ignis type weapons, in fact any AoE weapon, could strip all your revives immediately. It could go all the way down to 0 health, and then it basically regen and goes straight back down to 0 again. There was no invulnerability window. It just meant that regen actually wasn't that good. However, if on a Prime mod, especially the Prime mod, I think the standard mod you get like 5 seconds extra duration or something. But on the Prime mod, obviously you get 11. That actually makes this pretty good. 11 seconds of invul gives you way more than enough time to deal with that pesky Sorch or the sapping Osprey that's killing your Sentinel. It gives you so much time to deal with that and actually makes it so much better, especially since it can now regenerate 3 times. Honestly, this is one of these ones that some people will love it, some people will hate it. If it functioned like the original regen, then honestly I thought this was honestly not going to be that good, because at a higher level, the Sortie, the Ignis is just going to blast straight through all of those revives anyway. But the invul timer on it just absolutely changes the game. It changes it for the Sentinels so much, and actually does help, and it gives a massive boost in survivability to the Sentinels. So if you like your Sentinels, this is actually definitely worth it. Now, in terms of the rest of the stuff this week, Sands of Anaros Blueprint's always there, and we've got the Gustrag 3 beacon, the Stalker beacon, and the Zanuka Hunter beacon, if you need to farm any of the parts from any of these. In terms of the consoles this week, I was on the Earth Relay, which is Strata. We got a pretty decent array of things. To start things with the Fashion Frame items, we've got the Xiphos Prisma skin for the landing craft. It's a very pretty looking thing, and if you want a really good looking skin to go with one of the best looking landing craft, look no further than this. It's fairly expensive on the credits, 400,000, but other than that, 220 ducats isn't breaking the bank too much. I'd say it's worth picking up. The Katir shoulder plates have made it to the consoles. As I said before though, these aren't really my cup of tea at all. However, if you wish to have your Warframe cosplay as Baro, 350 ducats, 110,000 credits, and you can get these shoulder pads shaped like Baro's head. So I guess that's something for all of you that want to be him. The electricity mods have made a reappearance in his inventory as well, the dual stats. Without doubt, all of these are worth picking up. I believe that these are still unobtainable in-game through actual gameplay. If they're actually obtainable, just let me know in the comments, but at least to my knowledge they're not right now, and that Baro's the only place to get them. However, at 300 ducats and 150,000 credits, and there's 4 of them, it's going to cost you a fair amount to pick them all up. But with that being said, they are all very useful, so it is definitely worth it. There's some really good weapons in this rotation for the consoles as well. 3 of them. All of them are fantastic. Firstly, the Prisma Grakata, a weapon that I've been wanting to get a Riven for so much. It's one of the most underrated primaries out there. When people think of crit rifles, the Soma Prime is always mentioned, but for me, the Prisma Grakata isn't too far behind. In terms of the melees, both the Prisma Scanner and the Prisma Dual Cleavers are powerhouse weapons. Built correctly, either of these weapons will be able to deal with sortie level content no problem, especially with them being both crit weapons. We all know that Blood Rush and Body Count is by far the strongest combo in the game for crit right now. Well, excluding Maiming Strike, but let's not talk about that. You can find videos on all 3 of these weapons in the description below. My Prisma Scanner does need a bit of updating, and I should be doing that in the next few days. And then finally for consoles, you've got the credit booster. If you're running low on these credits, you can convert some of these ducats into a few days worth of credit farming, which I do have a guide for, also in the description below. So that's basically Baro for both PC and for console. Another rotation and more discussion topics. Let me know what you think of primed regen, especially now you know about the invul phase for each regen. The Suddenly Tenno podcast will be going up in the next day or so. It's a very long one, so get ready for that. I look forward to reading your comments, and as always, many thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.